I see you. I know where you are. I know you've worked hard, and it feels like you've tried everything. You've pushed, you've posted, you've prayed, you've hoped, wanted, wished, dreamed, but nothing seemed to stick until now. Today, we're connecting these dots for you. We're going to talk specifically about how you can start winning today. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third-generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books. I keep saying that last book, 40 books and counting. I've had the amazingly wonderful privilege of working with everything from multi-billionaires to brand new startup companies, from doctors and lawyers to stay-at-home moms, from people who had ginormous $1 million marketing budgets to people who, really honestly talking to them about something that was a $500, $1,000, $5,000 program was a real serious commitment for them. And at all of those levels, here's the one thing that rings true more than anything else. I mean, besides the fact that I've been absolutely honored to work with every single last one of them, the one thing that rings true more than anything else is the fact that they all have something amazingly incredible to share with the world. And they all felt, no matter what level they were at, they felt invisible. They felt like a fraud. They felt like the best kept secret. And they felt like no matter what they did, it wasn't really working. It wasn't giving them the visibility they need. And that's where we come in with a plan, with a real understanding of what it really takes. Why are you struggling? And what can it take to get a real win right here, right now, today? I want to talk about that with you. I want to dive into that with you, kind of in a little bit of detail today. We've gone through a lot of things this week, up to and including, we've launched a couple of books, and yesterday we went live with Philip and actually relaunched technically. The book had been out. It was not doing what he wanted it to, and now I can tell you that whereas yesterday, when Philip and I went live at 11 o'clock Central Time, noon Eastern Time, the book had no rankings at all. The book right now is in the top 30 in one category, in the top 100 in a couple others. And that's before the technical free day marketing promotion that we're doing. The statistics from that even start kicking in. Okay. And then in addition to that, we're going to help Robert after, we get that bestseller seal on there, because bestseller, as I've said, as I wrote the book on, bestseller is a day one launch strategy. Bestseller is the beginning. We absolutely do want your book to make that bestseller, because that's a credential that makes such a difference for you. But then we need to have a plan, a true visibility plan for you to have real visibility, to have the real exposure in front of and with and to real human beings, not, insert your favorite AI here, knowing you really well. I mean, if you spend enough time with most of the AIs, they will learn you really well. They will know you better than you know yourself. But the AIs don't have jobs. The companies that own those AIs charge you for them, but the AI itself doesn't get that money. And so they can't buy your book. They can't buy your product. Had a great conversation with an author who has a couple of them. Well, one's out and two more that are in the process of coming out. Amazing, amazing children's books that are really designed to help you really know how to parent. And she's a pro. She's actually literally a trained therapist that has a program that really, truly helps you. But the problem is you've never heard of her books. We need to get her that visibility so that all of you, and I could include myself in that, though my kids are grown now, we can know what really are the elements of being a good parent. The parent that you dreamt of being when you really started out. Nobody's like, what I really want to do is I really want to mess my kids up just as bad as I possibly can. I mean, some of us have joked along the lines of, as long as the children are going to be in therapy, let's make sure they get something really good to talk to a therapist about. Okay, yes, I have shared that funny joke before, but really, we want the absolute best for our kids, no matter where they are, no matter what they believe, no matter how absolutely different than us they are. All we really want is their best life. Great, great book. So, we've had some amazing things like that happen. And in the same time, Dawn's children's book that we've looked at a couple of times, we looked at middle of the week. It made it went at one point from 9,000 to 1,000. It's in about the 3,000s now as far as its ranking goes. But more importantly than that, the book made it into the library at a children's hospital. What a great placement for a children's book. I can tell you, I was on the phone with her yesterday too, on a Zoom call actually. And as we were talking about where and some of the places that it went to, she was tearing up. Because real visibility is about you being visible in front of the people that you really want to be visible to. It isn't about, here's one of the things that we really run into trouble with these days because of mostly, and I'll lump myself in there, all of us marketers and all the things we talk about going viral and how many likes and how many shares and all those kind of things. And we miss the basic fact. I love Seth Godin put it in one of his books. I've heard him say it several times. Better to have 100 raving fans than 10,000 people who could care less. Sure, you could do a viral video. I hope you do. I hope you have one that just blows up on you. I was listening to something yesterday, I think it was, and the person was talking about how it got reposted by something, and it had like 9.2 million views on that one post. That's super cool. But if you had, first of all, out of that 9.2 million views that they got, selling a product that is, don't quote me on this, but $50-ish, okay, they made about $1 million off of those. And that's over the course of the whole year they made, so it wasn't boom. And then the next day they made the $1 million. It was, it gave them the exposure that built their company from being a $120,000 company the first year it was in business to being, a 1.2-ish million dollar company the second year in business. I want you to have that kind of viral feed. But the truth of the matter is number one, you're going to get 0.5%. If you were really amazing and you got 1 or 2%, that would be like amazing. But if you got 10 million views, okay, and you got 1% of that, that's 100,000 people. Okay, could you fulfill 100,000 right now today? Do you have the systems in place that if 100,000 people said yes today, you could do stuff with it? Or would it be better for us to get you 10 people this month, or maybe even just one person? Because the one is going to start from the visibility. So you have that visibility, you have nothing. And then you need to know what to do with it. Okay, we've said before many, many times, your book is the lost leader. It's the cheap milk at the back of the grocery store. It's the thing to get them to walk past the cookies. And since you got milk anyway, and it was a great price, let's get some cookies to go with the milk. Okay? That's the concept behind it. And then they make a ton of money off of the cookies because they made you walk past them. And they have all of the things that they really, really, really want you to buy. All those impulse things. The really great moneymaker ones are the ones that are up by the cash register. buy this pack of gum, buy this little, whatever, trinkety thing, get this magazine. All of those kind of things, they're there because they know they don't give it that retail space because they don't make any money off of it. They know that it is the big money makers for them. And so that when you get people into your book, you want to give them a course, a way to invite you to come and be a speaker. The next book, whatever that might be, you want to continue the process with them. That's where you're going to get to the money. So many of us have spent so much time, myself included, doing things that are, status quo efforts, massive amounts of posts on social media, doing all of the funnels and all the traffic and all the everything. But the thing that everyone seems to be missing is, how do I really truly build trust? Why is this book? Why is it, whether you take, my old book that's been rewritten is number 20 and now the new book is number 40, or you take the book that Willie and I put out in April, okay, why is it that the book is the thing that really creates the trust for you? Because we're giving ourselves, you got to have a book that is entertaining, that if it's, if it's a nonfiction, if it's for, business purposes, that teaches them something, gives them an action that they could do by themselves without ever engaging with you, without ever costing them any more than the book. Now, I'm not saying tell them your whole process, but I'm saying give them a win. Be you, okay? Be 100% totally you in the book. And the people that are connected or should be connected to you will resonate with it. And the people who don't like it, that's a bonus too. And that's where we begin to build that know, like, and trust factor. Once we have that visibility, so we put the book where books are. Mostly we're talking Amazon because it's selling like 95% of all the books that are sold. And we create real visibility on Amazon. Then we can move to beginning to build that value because people begin to get the book. You move from the place where right now, if your book isn't visible, if it isn't selling copies of the book, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. The book that my ex-wife, Kathy, wrote that I published for her that's called Experience Twilight came out in 2008, had all of the, both film movie locations where they filmed all of the first original Twilight movie, as well as it had all of the designated, if you actually went to Forks, Washington, this would be, where the Cullen House, where, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. All right. And either you've seen Twilight or you haven't. And that book was at the time, and, way back in the, 2008, 2009 timeframe, it was the #1 selling movie-related travel guide on Amazon. Okay. Flash forward to now. That book has enough visibility that it still sells 1 or 2 copies every single month. No marketing, nobody's doing anything to it, okay? Nobody's even thought about it other than when I bring it up. I mean, yeah, I put it out as one of the books that was available over our holiday promotion that we did over Black Friday to Cyber Monday. And some people got the book. And I hope that they go on a self-guided Twilight tour, because I know people are still into it. When you move to that place where you have spent the marketing money, you've gone to the places, you've talked individually to the bookstores, the libraries, your client, and you've built a relationship and you created a book that really gives them the juicy, meaty stuff. I used to get calls couple of times a month with people asking me if I could take them on guided tours, even though we put out a book that told them specifically, go here, go there, this is exactly where to do it, blah, blah, blah. They wanted to pay to have us take them on the tour. Great. Okay. Now I still get some contacts every once in a while, once or twice a year. I don't live anywhere near Portland, Oregon anymore, so I can't do that. But, yeah, it's that kind of a situation. That's when your visibility really begins to pay off. But you got to build the visibility so that you have that kind of impact. All of that is to say, you create trust with the people. They see you, they know you, they like you, and you build the trust with them. Because it isn't about being a great closer and having all the best ways of overcoming all the objections so that you can, trick people into buying sales. Real selling is about really, truly creating trust with people. Absolutely. From the experience of both the sales managing that I did, as well as the training that I did, as well as the personal selling that I did of Kirby vacuums door to door in people's houses way back. Okay. I can tell you that, yes, you can get in, you can have a bright smiley face and blah, 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 and you can get in and you can, in an hour to 2 hours, get somebody to buy something that's $2,000. You totally can do that. And I can tell you that if they don't trust you, the next day, a couple of days later, they're going to call the company and say, hey, I made a bad decision. I don't want this. But if they trust you, if they see it, if you spend the time investing in them, they're going to show everybody this amazing thing that they've got, and they're going to have it for years and years and years and years. Because you have to have that trust. And it starts by being visible and adding value. And then from there, it moves to you having a good ranking. So that when somebody brand new comes to your book and they look at it online, the first thing they're going to do is look at, does it have any reviews? What are the reviewers saying about it? The next thing they're going to look at is, what's the book ranked at? Is it ranked at 5 millionth total? No categories at all, just 5 million out of all the books on Amazon. Hey, if you're in the top 10 million, so in other words, you get a number, you should be proud of yourself. I've been saying there's about 2 million books a year. I actually heard somebody quote that there's about 8 million books a year that are being published. Either one of those numbers. Okay, if so you should feel good about that. But if your ranking moves from the 2 millionth book on Amazon, you're in the top 2 million of books on Amazon, to being in the top 1,000, in the top 10,000, let's even say, in your category. That's a massive shift. And if your book then can go from the top 10,000 to the top 1,000, even better yet, if we can get you on the bestseller list and you can be in the top 100. That ranking is going to give you momentum. It's going to make you more organically available, because if people are buying it, Amazon wants more people to buy it because they want to make money. Today is the day to start. No matter where you're at. Doesn't matter whether your book is 20 years old or 20 seconds old. Doesn't matter if you literally, just before you heard this, hit submit on your book. Okay? Or 25 years ago, you published the book and you've always wanted it to do something, but you just never figured out what the marketing is. This is for you. This is your permission slip to shift from trying to rising, to being seen, to be visible and valuable. And what I need you to do is DM Amplify Review, or, drop it in the comments. Either way, Amplify Review. If you can't remember what words I said, just drop AR. That's fine too. You need that visibility because the world needs what you're doing in the world. Because here's what I know. You've struggled long enough, and now is your time to rise. Today is your day to decide and to become visible and create real valuability. I know valuability isn't a word, but it works. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I hope that you're happy, you're safe, you're warm and loved, and that until we're together again next time, you have a great week.